Bowls Buddies, good morning and thank you for joining me on this wonderful Friday for another edition of Ask Andy. Now, you can see that I am in my man cave / studio. I'm afraid the weather has beaten me. I was hoping to get out on the bowling green and show you something, but it's not happened. So hopefully, fingers crossed, both of them, that I'll be able to manage that next week. So I've delved into the archive and found a question that I haven't answered yet. I've got actually quite a lot, but I think this is a good one at the minute given the situation. So I'm going to talk about that. Firstly, thank you again for joining me. If you enjoy the video, please hit that like button. And if you're not already a member of this wonderful community of ours, and you're not already a Bowls Buddy, please hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell for notifications of new content on this channel. Fantastic. And another thing, please feel free to comment. If you disagree with what I say, tell me. If you agree with what I say, tell me. If you have another point of view, if I've missed something, tell me. Feedback is brilliant. So the question for I hope you're enjoying the All England videos I'm putting on from the old BT Sport coverage. I managed to find them on my mum's set-top box, and I managed to get them off. So I've got the All England from 2016, and what's the other one I've got? Oh, the Champion of Champions from the same year. But unfortunately, I think I've got the final missing, which is a bit of a pain. It's either the final or the semi-final, I can't remember. But they'll be coming up over the next few weeks. So right, the question, I think it was from a guy called Terry, who either commented or messaged me, I can't remember which, and he was asking for advice about the best way to practice. Well, given the current situation, practicing really is all you can do, and I suppose you can have a social roll-up, but anyone who's really wanting to get stuck into the game and improve, this is an ideal time. Now, the problem with practicing is it can be a little bit boring, especially if you're playing a lot. You know, the top players are maybe playing 5-6 nights a week, and practicing might not be necessary because you are sending that many bowls. But even then, I can tell you for a fact, Gary Ellis is a massive practicer. He's always trying to get to a green if he's not sending bowls for any length of time, even if it's only for a couple of days. So if it's got to be the way forward. It's the only way to improve is practicing and playing at the highest level you possibly can, accepting that you're going to get some bashings. It doesn't matter initially, as long as it doesn't put you off and you realise why you're playing at such a high level when you're maybe not just ready for it. It's so that you get the experience of playing really good players and you can pick up the tips that you need to improve your game, how the top players approach a situation in a game that you may see completely differently. So first advice, play at the highest standard you can, even if it means short term a bit of pain, because ultimately long term it will be really beneficial. So that's the first thing. And then it depends at what sort of stage you're at in your bowls career. If you've only just started bowling, I would say just get on the green as much as you can. Get your delivery honed. Just send bowls. It doesn't really matter at this stage whether you're practicing certain marks or what have you. Get that delivery honed so it's the same every single time. Even if you're cobbling your bowls out, if you cobble your bowls out the same every time you send a ball, it doesn't matter. Consistency is absolutely key. The worst thing in the world is creaming a ball out, and the next ball it comes out like a baby giraffe's head. You can't deal with that. That's just, it'll frazzle your mind. So when you're beginning, get the delivery spot on so you can repeat it time after time after time. I went through a stage not that long ago, and maybe 1 in every 5 balls going, I think, thumb peg would veer off to the left and maybe go a foot outside the road, and I couldn't stop it. I didn't know, it didn't feel any different, but I must have been delivering it just slightly at an angle just to take it off the road. And eventually it meant that I had to come down I always used to play 211s. All my adult life I've played 211. I had to come down to 210s, and the problem disappeared. Just disappeared straight away. So even at my age and at my supposed level, I'm still learning things about my delivery and how it's working, how it's changed over time. So I've had to drop down in my mid-40s from 211 to 210, and that was costing me so many games. Skewing 1 ball in 5 out or 1 ball in 6, it meant that my confidence was really, really gone, and it was a bad time in the career. But you know, thankfully, well, certainly up until the middle of last season, that's never happened since. So get on the green, beginners, and play. Doesn't matter who you're playing with, what you're practicing, sending balls and making sure you can repeat your delivery time after time after time. Once that's fixed and feels right, bowls is a lot about feel. You get your delivery feeling right for you, half the battle. You then need to work out what your best marks are, what your favourite marks are. And this, no one can tell you that. This is entirely up to you. You know what you prefer. There's bowlers out there, it doesn't matter what green they're on, who they're playing, they will look as far as they can and send the jack there, because that's what they enjoy doing, that's their game. Others, they play up an edge. Others, round pegs over the crown. And no one can tell you what your best mark is. You have to work that out for yourself. And again, that takes time and practice, because that's where you'll pick it up. So, you've got your delivery. You've worked out what your favourite marks are. Now you can do that by practicing on your own or practicing with someone. It might even be better practicing with someone to find out what your favourite marks are. Don't know. Once you've found what your favourite marks are, and on your home green especially, you'll practice them and you'll get 2 or 3 marks that you really enjoy playing, that you'll always go for in a game. It then comes to practicing the marks that you don't enjoy, and that is the hard bit. This is when practicing can get a little bit of a chore if you're not careful with it. Now, I can only talk about myself because I don't know everyone else and how they've developed over the years. When I was a kid, I started bowling when I was 8-9 years old, and my marks were round pegs, fairly short, 25 to 30 yards under the crown. That's what I always played, or over the middle, or what. Never dealt with corners, never went up edges, never played 3/4 corners, never did any of that. And I always practiced on my own, and this is the best tip I think I can ever give you. When you're practicing, if you're not with somebody and you're not playing competitively, because when you practice with somebody you really need to be playing competitively, I think. If you're not doing that and it's a social role, it isn't practice. Play on your own with 2 sets of balls. Doesn't matter if they're the same, in fact it's better if they're different weights, different size, because then you have to think about what you're doing between each ball and you concentrate more. So I always used to go on a green for an hour. I think an hour is plenty of time for practice. More than that, you get fed up of it. Less than that, it's not really worth it. But any amount of time is good, but an hour is probably about right. That's how long you can concentrate for, I think. I used to go on with 2 sets of balls, different weights, different coloured discs, so I could play one set against the other. And one set I would play, if I got in, I would go for my normal marks. If I got in with the other set, I'd go for marks that I didn't normally play, and I would play a game like that. Sometimes I'd only practice marks that I didn't enjoy, such as the corners. I used to be so weak in the corners until I practiced them, and now I think with the jack I'm pretty good. It's not always my go-to tactic, but I do enjoy playing the corners. Not so much without the jack. So, you know. So, you've got your delivery. You've worked out what your favourite marks are. Then you practice the marks that you're not so happy with, and you'll find that out through playing competitive games. The marks where you struggle. You need to sort of keep a note in a notebook, or remember, or whatever. Practice the marks you don't enjoy. And then from there, practice is it's a way of working on your problem areas. So you play your balls during the week, you play your 4 or 5 times a week, or your twice a week, or whatever, and when you get on the green, think, right, what did I struggle with that game? Practice it. And it's an ongoing thing. Ongoing. But the thing you need to remember, is my delivery right? Does it feel like it's changed? Has it changed? What am I doing differently? That sort of thing. So not forgetting the basics. Again, I went through a phase where I couldn't deliver a ball cleanly. Again, I thought my balls were too big, but they weren't. I felt something had changed in my delivery, and things will change over time. Your delivery changes because your body size might change, or because your joints are aching, or whatever, but you need to be conscious of these things and adapt. And when I start struggling with my delivery, which, you know, it hasn't happened now for a few years, touch wood, and I'm hoping it'll be a long time before it happens again, but when I was going through this phase of struggling with the delivery, all I did was go on a green for an hour, no jack, and just sent balls. And all I did was concentrate on getting them out how I wanted to get them out. Wanting to get them out clean, no wobbling balls, things like that. And forgetting about the jack took an awful lot of pressure off what I was trying to do. Take the jack out of the equation, reduce the pressure, relax, and concentrate on sending balls. So, what I've just, I don't know what that is, what I've just spoke about there is your practice between games. Okay, so your games that you're playing competitively, they're an indicator of what you need to practice when you're not competitively playing. The practice that you do before a game, say if you're playing a league where you have a roll up before you start bowling, all that should be doing is getting you loose, getting your arms and your joints going, and just picking up a feel for the pace of the green. That's not the time to start trying different things. That's just a warm up, like footballers do. They do a few exercises and whatever. Warm up, make sure you're supple, make sure your joints are going. You know, maybe do a couple of stretches before you bowl, because you don't want to pull anything. But that 15 minutes, it's a loosener. Don't go trying anything different. Don't try different grips or different stances or changing your delivery. Bad idea. If you're fortunate to play at a level where you get maybe in a county game or half hours practice, I see a lot of players just ambling about, and have an idea where you want to practice, what marks you might want. Have a look at the green. Where is it going to be hard? Where are the homesters going to try and catch me out? Where does it look a massive uphill? Where does it look downhill? Where is it maybe not as obvious? Practice the edges both ways. So, you should be going around the 4 edges maybe. Try the corners. What are the corners like? Have a plan of, if you're on a strange green and you get a bit of time, where you're going to go and where you're going to practice, and try different bias. Send the jack out finger, follow it first ball with the same bias, and then turn over your next. So you've nothing lost. All you can do is gain. Again, on your home green, when you go on for your hour's practice or whatever, half hour even, and you look at the mark, you play the marks you like, don't practice them as much because you like them, but maybe practice them the other peg so that if you need to turn over. A lot of this might sound obvious, but I know lots of players who are absolutely brilliant on their home green, but take them the other peg on the same mark and they're clueless. They might not even turn over, but practicing on your home green is vital for you to pick your marks up and for you to feel comfortable when you are practicing, so you don't feel lost, you don't feel like you're going to chuck them everywhere. You want to practice being as somebody who's confident. I think that goes a long way to improving your game. The confidence levels. Oh yeah, I can turn over there. Oh yeah, I know it's downhill there. Oh, it's uphill. I catch them out there. Again, from personal experience, Gag Hills, where I played I actually learnt to bowl down there, and beautiful green. Many of you may have played it. I have 3 marks on there. That's all. 3 marks. It's only a small green. It's 3 marks. And I will take you on one of them. If I'm having a poor game, you'll end up going on all 3, but I will go for one of those marks. And I have a fallback mark that I know that I can take anybody on, and I will guarantee you, I'll have a £10 bet with anyone that my opponent will be short with their first ball. It's a fallback mark. I don't need to practice it because I know it, and that's come from practice. But good practice, structured practice, going on with a plan. I'm going to play for an hour, I'm going to practice these marks, I'm going to do this, and then come off. So practice with purpose, I guess, is what I'm saying. And I'm sorry I've rambled on so long. I've just realised I've done 18 minutes there, which is twice as long as I wanted to do. So I hope that's helped. I know there's a lot of people doing practice manuals and writing books and all sorts of things out there at the minute, but practice with purpose. That's all I'll say to you, because that's all you need to do. Okay, so remember, beginner, really work on your delivery, and as you get into it, start picking up your marks, your favourite marks, practice your less favourite marks, make it, get a few marks on your home green, and then work on your weaknesses. That's about as much as I can tell you, but you will get out what you put in. Simple as that. So the more you practice, the better you will get. And don't forget, play at the highest level you can. So guys, I'll leave it there because I've prattled on, but never mind, at least it gives you something to watch. I'll see you on Monday for a Monday morning vlog. So if you do on the green, stay safe, and I'll see you on the other side.